Huawei's just launched this. This is their latest flagship tablet called the MatePad Pro. We have a 12.6-inch screen with this one now. It's OLED. It's all powered by the Kirin 9000. Now, my unit here that was sent out to me from Huawei has 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. The battery capacity in this one is a large 10,050 milliamp hours. It does have wireless charging, 40-watt charging, and the optional keyboard you can see, which I do have. I'll be covering that in this review, and the M Pencil active stylus. Inside the box of the MatePad Pro, you will find our 40-watt supercharger. We have an adapter here for 3.5mm to Type-C, and a SIM tray tool. Now, my model doesn't have the SIM support, but other models I believe will, and this does have expandable storage option, which you need this tool here, of course, to access. This tablet for a 12.6-inch one has a very good weight to it, so it's only just over 600 grams, as you see here with my scales. 616, very, very thin too as well, so just a fraction under 7mm according to my measurements. And take a look at the size of the bezels of this one. They're only about 5mm there. Very, very slim bezels around the 12.6-inch screen. Up the top of the MatePad Pro here, we have a volume up and down button, and the frame around it is made out of plastic, also the material on the back. So 3 microphones here along the top. Down the bottom, we have the expandable storage little tray there, which would also be a SIM tool if you do get a version that does have LTE or 5G. I believe possible future editions of those may be coming, but at this time, it's just for storage at the moment. It takes Huawei's NM card. On the left, our power button, some Harman Kardon speakers, so they are side-firing either side of this. On the right, we've got a Type-C port, and you can see the other speakers right there. So this Type-C port supports video out. I've tested it out with a Type-C to HDMI, and also a Huawei Type-C dock works just fine, but it's only cloning the display. There doesn't seem to be any desktop mode this time with it. The material on the back, this is made out of a high-quality plastic, just like the frame, and it does not feel cheap at all. It's quite a premium feel to this particular tablet. And a small camera module here. So there are 3 cameras. Our main camera is 13 megapixels. We have an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, and then a camera that is used for time of flight for our 3D depth sensing. You can see it is branded right there. And this is our 4th microphone on the back, and there is an LED flash. Gone is the cutout in the screen now too. So we used to have the front-facing camera right here, which was a cutout in the screen. They've moved it right here, the 8 megapixel front-facing camera, to the top bezel, and I do prefer this. Now, it supports face unlocking, which is very quick, and I haven't had any issues with it. It is reliable and seems to be quite accurate. You can also get this as a optional keyboard for it. So it's a keyboard type cover, and it covers the rear of it. So magnets hold this into place. It has this texture on the back of it, which is soft. It's a synthetic material. It's all like a plastic they are using, but it's high quality. And the magnets are very strong, holding this into place. And the other side is exactly the same. They're covering that up. So to open it up, simply lift it down, and then we've got these 2 different positions. So that's the most upright position there for the tablet. And then the next one down is the one I like to use. That's more of a comfortable angle I find when I'm sitting at a desk, which is good. Now, typing on this particular keyboard, very comfortable. It's so much better than using an on-screen keyboard. So if you do type a lot, I do recommend getting these. I say that with all other tablets that support the hardware keyboards because it's superior to on-screen keyboard typing. And good spacing of the keys. We've got most of the shortcuts and things you would want on here. There's a cut, you can see with that button. We've got the function keys there too as well. And overall, it is good. It has around about 1.4 millimeters to 1.3 millimeters of travel. So a little short on the travel with the keys. It does lie completely flat, so you can't prop it up to a more comfortable typing angle. So very similar to what we've seen with other manufacturers when it comes to their type covers, that they lay flat there. It is not backlit, and it is powered by the tablet itself. Overall, it's a quality keyboard. I like this one. So the screen here, it does have a resolution of 2560 by 1600. We've got various different options with our color. You can change the white balance. You can tweak it to your own preference there. Vivid's on by default. I do actually prefer normal. And there's one option here I really do like, which is natural tone. That automatically adjusts the color temperature based on your ambient lighting. I find it actually does work very well. Now, the maximum brightness of this particular screen here is close to 700 nits. It's very good. It's fully laminated. It has scratch-resistant glass over it. And yes, it is an OLED, but it has a pen tile arrangement. So if you look at it really, really close, around the fonts, you will notice sometimes around the letters that it does have jagged edges. Now, to me, this is not an issue. It's like the Lenovo P11 Pro that I reviewed. If you look at it really close, it will not look as sharp as other panels, yes, but at normal viewing distances, I don't actually personally find this to be an issue. It's a sharp and good-looking screen. Now, back there in the options under display, we've got our dark mode. Ebook mode is there too. You can adjust the screen size. So if you're not happy with it looking a little bit large like that, I would probably actually run it really small. But for this review, I'm keeping it on default. You can increase that too as well. So your typical scaling options, they are all there with the HarmonyOS that this is running. And one last thing with our screen, that the touch response is very, very good. No problems. And I'm not seeing any flicker with it. So we've swapped now from EMUI to HarmonyOS, which is the new thing here from Huawei. And they have made some design changes, especially with this tablet with the UI. So you can see if I swipe down here from the right, we have the control center. So all of our toggles right there. We've even got music, connected devices, and our brightness controls are very easy to access everything right there. Dock here at the bottom, we have the last 3 apps that I have run, so recent apps are there. And notifications if you just swipe down here from the top. So you can see that it's stating there non-commercial version. That's because this is not a commercial version, okay? This is not a retail unit. I don't have retail firmware. It is a loan device from Huawei. That is why that's there. So it's not a final version of the software, but I have not experienced any bugs or issues so far with it, which is great. When you take a look at our settings, it's all standard, pretty much laid out as it was before with EMUI. It's very, very similar and familiar to us. Everything's there. So my version here has the 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, and I've updated everything I can. HMS core, that is there, that was updated, and you can see here the version that I have, which is version 2.00122 at the time of this video, is the most recent there. So with our applications, I'll just go into a couple of things here to point out that when you're going to run something, and if you want to run it in a window, you can do that, okay? So apps that support it, you'll see this little icon here. So you can run windowed apps, you can swap over and do multitasking this way, which is very quick to just bring things up. So I can bring up browser here, okay, so it'll pop up into there, and the whole thing has been performing just so fast, smooth and fluid, which is good. It's what I want to see out of my tablet, but I really do miss at least having like 90 hertz would have been the sweet spot there to have that for the performance at least. So we've got App Gallery, of course. Now with App Gallery, I'll just minimize those and get them out of the way. It's improving because they've got pedal search now. So a lot of the applications that we couldn't get before, they are now finally there. More developers are moving over and getting their apps onto their market, which is good. Now, even though it doesn't have everything, some games especially are lacking, they're not there. It will come up with alternatives where you can install things. So I tried to run Display Tester, which I like. It's one of my applications. So you will occasionally run into that problem. So here, when I just bring it up, you see Display Tester, it still wants Play services. Unfortunately, that one is not going to work. But I found workarounds for a lot of things. Now, I do not approve of this application, and I know so many people run it because I see it in comments all the time, is YouTube Advanced, of course. Now, if you did want YouTube, you could install that, but please, if you're using an Android device that does support normal YouTube, use that, please. There's adverts, support the creators out there because this removes all ads, and I'm highly against it. But I know I'm not stupid. People out there are using this app, so it's there if you need it, YouTube. Or you can use the browser. Now, for Gmail and things like that, you can use email and you can access your Gmail. So there are workarounds for a lot of things, and it is slowly getting better. It's just that some apps won't work yet on this particular tablet and HarmonyOS. Now for benchmarks, a little bit skint, unfortunately, because I could not get Antutu to run on this tablet, not yet. Hopefully support for that one will be added later on in the future. So here we have Wildlife. That's a 3D Mark benchmark, and it gets a very respectable score here. That does tell us what we already know, that it is, yes, a flagship, and it has flagship performance there. And look at these storage speeds. They are just so quick. Sequential reads of over 2,000, writes of over 1,500 there. And look at those random reads and writes. This fast storage is not going to hold up this tablet at all. It's just so quick. Over to audio now. So impressive sound out of the side-firing speakers that this one has from Harman Kardon. They are truly right up there, I would say, with some of the best I've heard from a tablet. Good volume, but it does not distort. It's clear, it's quite balanced. There's a bit of bass in there. So just before I give you that sample, I wanted to point out that yes, you can use 3.5mm audio with this, but there's no jack, okay? So you have to use that included adapter. Now sound through it, it sounds fine to my ears. It does sound really good. Bluetooth audio as well. I have tested that out on it and no issues. It also sounds excellent. Here are those speakers now at 100% volume. It really is quite impressive. And what about just media consumption on this? Very, very good because it's got a really nice OLED screen, super deep blacks, great contrast, very good colors on it. Now, it does have Widevine level 1 cert. However, I have noticed with Netflix at least, I think Amazon Prime Video is in 1080p, but Barbarians is a series I will just look at right now. It's very good, actually. It's subbed over, but I would watch it in German with subtitles, this one. Very, very good. However, running it and letting it just go, when you look at it closely, it doesn't seem to me, it's definitely not in full HD. It seems like it's running at just HD or standard definition. Even though we've got the Widevine level 1 cert, Netflix just doesn't want to run it at full HD. And having a look at YouTube here with one of my own videos, just bring that up into full screen and you can run this right up to 4K with no problems. And it does look very sharp and great. As you can see, looking on this, that there's no problems. But again, because it's a 16:10 aspect ratio screen, and this content, most media, or videos at least, and movies and things will be 16:9, so that's why we have the borders there, top and bottom. We do have now support for the M Pencil, which is optional, it's not included. So very similar to the last Gen 1, but it does have a lot of improvements now. It's faster, more accurate, and you can see here that I can place it onto the top, so this does charge wirelessly. You can see M Pencil, 100% battery, and the battery just seems to go forever on this. It does last a very, very long time, and most people will be storing it on the top, and it'll be fully charged anyway when you need it. Now, the magnet is very, very strong. It holds it in place there, and if I violently shake the tablet, you can see that's not going anywhere. So I do like how strong it is. Now, it does have palm rejection, of course, which we need with a stylus like this, a very smart stylus. Now, the detection works approximately, I would say, about 4 millimeters away from the screen. So you can see, like, when I do it now, okay, have I got finger support? Oh, I'm on the eraser mode, that's why. So there we go. It's going to work then, but as soon as it's about here or touching the screen, that's the palm rejection. So only then the pencil is going to work. Now, it has 496 pressure levels. So this is me just pressing very, very light. You can hardly see that. And I press harder and then harder and harder, and you can see that's coming through. Now, it does work right up to the absolute very edges here. So drawing straight lines across the screen doesn't seem to be a problem at all. It does seem very, very quick and accurate. Now, this is Autodesk Sketch that I'm using right here with this one. So it's one app that does work with this, and you've got your various different tools too. So I do find the performance of this pen, the updated pen, seems to be very, very quick. And for handwriting, I'll just give you a short demo now. This app I'm using is called Nebo or Nebo. It did come with the tablet. So let's see how it fares here with handwriting. Okay, that didn't even work for some reason. No, because I haven't even... This app's called Nebo or Nebo. It did come with the tablet, and let's see how it fares here. So, hello, world. Oops, how are you? Very messy, my writing there, but it seems to work quite well. I'll just do another very quick one-handed test there, and I'll do it again with my palm, of course. So I think for note takers out there, this one is quite good. It's very fast, and I do like that latency that I'm seeing with it, and accuracy. Where I'm putting the nib of it, it's pretty much exactly where it is coming through on the screen. Now you can write into any area that there is text input, and I'll quickly show you that. So if I just tap there and I can just write now, hello, you'll see it'll recognize that, and that is converted over. So any area that you want to, for example, you're filling in a form online on a website, you can simply, instead of typing with the keyboard or the on-screen keyboard, you can simply just go ahead and write that into those text fields. Now, gaming performance is excellent thanks to that Kirin 9000, the 8 gigabytes of RAM. So with PUBG, yes, it can run PUBG, no problems. Call of Duty, I did try to run that one and I just couldn't get it to run. It does want Google Play services, unfortunately, for that title. But very, very smooth performance right here at the 60 frames per second. If I look down the sights, I've already got 3 kills. Very smooth, no lag, and so immersive thanks to this large screen and then those speakers. The speakers sound absolutely fantastic on this tablet, especially for gaming. It really does add to the immersion. So to get the 60 frames per second option, you simply just need to set the graphics with PUBG to smooth. If you put it on balanced, then we only get the ultra frame rate, which is 45 frames per second, and I want the extreme here, which is, of course, 60. And now over to our cameras. So the front-facing camera we have with this tablet is 8 megapixels. It can shoot a maximum of 1080p resolution. The quality is okay. It looks a little bit soft to me, but it is certainly better than my laptop's webcam. So if you're going to be using this for, say, Skype or Zoom calls and things, it's adequate. And there, of course, are the 4 microphones in total that this MatePad Pro has. And the 13 megapixel camera on the rear, this one can shoot up to 4K with electronic image stabilization. For a tablet, the quality is acceptable. It's alright. I mean, I have seen better, and your phone will probably do a lot better than this. But at least we do have this option for 4K video with the stabilization. And then we can shoot with the ultra wide too. It's very windy here at the moment, so we have a bit of wind noise coming through on those mics as expected. And just a few short photos from the rear camera, so the main 13 megapixel and a shot from the 8 megapixel ultra wide. Again, I think for a tablet, the camera quality is definitely acceptable and it's better than others I've seen. It's not maybe the best, but it is usable and that's what we want. Okay, so this tablet has some fantastic hardware. The Kirin 9000, the 8 gigabytes of RAM, and that really quick storage. Fastest storage I have seen in a tablet. I mean, look at those sequential reads and writes. They are excellent, so good. Gaming performance is great, and then the speakers on this. The speaker setup has to be probably one of the best I have heard in a tablet. Very immersive for gaming, and of course playing PUBG there with the gunfire, the footsteps, and on this large screen was a very immersive, enjoyable experience. Stylus, so this M Pencil, improved, it's better, it's faster. I like the fact that we can just write in anywhere. There's a text input if you wanted to do that with your handwriting, and handwriting recognition seems to be working quite well even for my messy handwriting. So, other things about this. The screen, I think, is where they've made a bit of a blunder here. 60 Hertz. Take a look at your competitors, and everyone else now is swapping over to say 90 or 120 Hertz displays. And I believe with this resolution, 90 would have been perfect. The blend, of course, of battery life and a fluid, smooth UI. Not to say it's not fluid. For 60 Hertz, it is very good, the performance. It feels fluid, the animations look good, recent apps, multitasking is good. Another thing too, with the display out, that it just seems to, at the moment, mirror what is on the screen. Okay, so it's just using a casting, and it's just the wide casting mode, wide mirror mode now, and it seems, at the time of doing this video, there doesn't seem to be a desktop mode therefore as well. So battery life is very good, so over a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, it will just go, and I'm getting around 10, possibly 11 hours out of this, and that's with Netflix, browser, general kind of light mixed use. It just goes and goes. I have found that those 7 nanometer Kirin 9000 chips, they are very efficient and it tends to work quite well. So the other thing is, okay, HarmonyOS is now new. We've got the app gallery, which is getting better, but still not everything's there. So be prepared to find workaround or different apps that do the same thing. If you're going to be getting one of these, you'd have to find solutions. And you have to find, okay, well, Gmail, you can use the Mail app. For Google Maps, okay, you need your map app, then you've got Petal Maps on there. But so far, it doesn't actually seem to be too bad at all. I've been testing it out. Now, GPS accuracy seems fine on this, seems very good, not a problem with it there. And it's just that, you're not going to find every single app that you want. And I know that puts off a few other people, but it is getting better and I'm seeing the improvements coming through, which is great. I just hope more developers get on board. The area where I find that it falls short with those apps and games that you can't find is that. Games more, okay? So say Call of Duty, not working on this. It's mostly the games which I've had more difficulty with this particular tablet here. So excellent hardware, great build, got a lot going for it. I just want to see that app gallery mature more. So thank you so much for watching my review here of the Huawei MatePad Pro with the M Pencil and the smart keyboard. So if you did like this video, do give a thumbs up and subscribe for more.